whenever and wherever you might be listening.
Good afternoon.
Good twilight, I guess. No, bad twilight. Bad twilight.
Bad Twilight.
You ruined stuff
Better
for people.
than Twilight.
Better than Twilight. Gentleman Dog Portrait. Better than Twilight.
Yeah.
Alright, welcome to another riveting episode of GDP. I'm Dean.
I'm Mike.
And this is stuff that's been happening. Alright, so, quick update. I think we're probably going to start, shifting the main show to Blogger. And just having, archive.org host the stuff, and then we'll embed it, and people can just listen from Blogger. Yeah, I think that's a good direction to go in.
Yeah.
Because, the Facebook group is nice. The Facebook group is kind of needed in this day and age.
Yeah.
Considering how old Facebook is. But, a blog format is a bit more friendly, and, we could just throw in updates every now and then. Maybe just reach out to the community. Whatever little community we have. So, I think, there was one person that commented on, okay, well, what would you rather see us do? And, okay, bring back some new stuff, but, keep your own personal flair. I'm like, I think we can do that. That's what we did in the first place. I'd rather not, generate in the back of my mind, hour-long rants about things that have been happening during the week.
Yeah.
Because our lives aren't that interesting.
Yeah.
Yours is.
My life is interesting, huh?
I got the 9-to-5 job going on, so
I'm always meeting interesting people, I guess. I'm always on the fringe of society. It seems to be the pattern with me.
Yep.
It snowed a lot again. It's late March. It's been snowing here.
Yeah, happy early spring, everybody.
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day came and went. Sorry to say I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I drank a little bit.
I had a beer to myself.
Well, it's one of those
With
holidays. I put Happy Cinco de Mayo on Facebook because it's really become one of those interchangeable holidays to just get Americans to drink.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, hey, I'm 1/64th Irish.
We could,
and then it's the same thing in Cinco de Mayo. Hey, let's just get drunk on today.
I should just when I invent a country, I'll just have a generic drinking holiday and
generic summer holiday and all of that.
Yeah.
Generic winter holiday.
Gift giving holiday.
Well, that would be cool. That would be a fun experiment to do. But if we were to not do news, I would probably go into this whole thing of I got Irish heritage in me, but I'm not going to bring that out one day of the year when I don't even attempt to do anything the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I certainly I have no interest in going to Ireland. I know it's a couple of people's dreams, and some people have done it and they love it, and more power to them. But I'm not, and I'm not going to pretend. It's really no different to me than any other day of the week. The only thing that changes for me is the commuting just gets terrible. People preemptively took off work and worked from home just to avoid all of the congestion that was going to happen.
Yeah, I myself was off, so.
Yeah, what day of the week was it?
Tuesday.
Yeah, you had no reason to go in.
Yeah. If
it was on a Thursday, you'd be whistling a different tune. You would be on the drunk train.
Yeah.
Going into work.
Well, yeah. I guess it would be 7 p.m. going into the city. So I don't know if people would be.
Oh, you would be seeing the drunk train.
People would be pre-gaming and going in.
Maybe.
I mean, that seems to be what happens every week anyway.
Yeah. So
I'm on a train with people who are drinking.
Yeah. It just came during a weird time of the year because people had to plan for the next day. And Wednesday is already a killer as it is. You don't want to be in. You don't want to be working anyway.
It's not like it was going to be Thursday and you could swing a Friday.
Yeah, exactly. You could you could just go into work hungover and just bear with it for a day. But no, you would be hungover. You would have a terrible time, and then you would still have 2 more days of work left. So,
one thing...
you're getting too old for this shit when you actually have to plan for the next day because you're working.
And just, skip class.
I'm 23. Crap. This is my golden year.
Golden year. Your one golden year of your life.
I only get one of them.
Entire life. Well, this has been the highlight.
It's all downhill from here. No house, no nothing.
So I've tried relatedly related to this. I've tried Angry Orchard.
Oh, there we go.
I liked it. And it was, I mean, it seemed very like, I could see how a lot of people would like it. Like it would be very palatable to everyone or something. It tastes good.
It's crisp.
Yeah.
It's a bit tart. It's almost like a soda. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. So my brother, we had gone grocery shopping and stuff, and he's like, oh, like, it's just, we go grocery shopping at a place that's near us, but it doesn't have the greatest selection ever, but it's very convenient. So he was looking for that there, and they had a bunch of stuff, but they didn't have that. So, okay, so I just figured, like, he had tried it and knew what it was like and wanted to get more of it. And then when I tried it, I was like, oh, this is good. I could see why he likes this. And I found out he never tried it before. So now I really want to get some and just have it around.
Well, you know what? This is probably going to turn into one of those shows for us that during the summer months, we're probably going to drink during the show.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a bit more fun that way. It's
Yeah.
a bit more fun that way. I am not opposed to day drinking. All right.
No.
All right, on to the show. I actually combed through a couple of articles and found some good stuff. I found one that really, really piqued my interest because, like, I'm a bit of a politics junkie.
Okay.
I'm like a social politics junkie. Whenever someone pushes it in my face, I need to read it. And come election season, it's going to be fun for me. Holy crap. I've already got the conspiracy theories going. But do you remember when you were in school and you learned about the process of how a bill becomes a law?
Sure.
Yeah, and if you had teachers that didn't care as much, they would wheel in the television, and they would just Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse,
You would watch
1970s animated musical.
Yeah.
Infomercial.
Well, it was the shit though.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I got as far as Capitol Hill.
Seriously,
nice.
It was awesome.
I remember
still whistled that kind of
Saturday
stuff now.
mornings that would come on, yeah.
I wasn't even around when they were on for Saturday mornings, so you're dating yourself here. Or maybe I was, and I just didn't know it.
Yeah, it was like not a regular thing. It was like a weird, like...
Because I think Disney Channel co-opted it.
It was like a public... Well, I didn't really have cable at that time.
Okay, alright.
But it was like public service announcement almost. It was like, you wouldn't expect it, but it was somehow there.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of happened, and it was some of my favorite stuff growing up. And this thing, a couple of fourth graders actually went ahead with the process to learn firsthand how a bill becomes a law. Whereas, like, it was explained to me at 3 different times when I was growing. It was like once in 5th grade, once in 8th grade, and then another in 12th grade.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
like
I already know this by now.
It was like citizenship or some kind of class.
Yeah, it was a government class, and I'm thinking, I already
US
know this stuff. You can't expect me to be very enthralled there. But at least it like told us how like committees fall into it.
Right.
Like it's not just like everyone goes in at once.
Right.
And here's the bill for the first time, and it's like, oh, I never knew about this before. This is very specific to my interests. I like it, and then everyone else is like, eh.
There was an
there's like a filtering process with the committees.
There was a post on Reddit, and the guy got gold for it. He detailed like like there's like 12 stages or something where the media can report on what a bill like so he used an example like so and so wants to blow up the moon or something. And it's like all like from it being like no one supports it to it being like, well, it's going up for a vote, but no one's ever going to vote for it. You know what I mean? But every step along the way, it sounds like it's like about to happen.
Yeah.
So like you can make it sound like very like you
can make it sound very exciting.
You can like make it like an alarmist kind of like but this is about to happen.
But the 4th graders in New Hampshire, they didn't make it like a typical bill that like to get people to agree to it.
So
they like added stuff to it. It wasn't like that at all. It was just here. I have the article up right now, and it was House Bill 373 for the New Hampshire State Legislature. an act establishing the red-tailed hawk as the New Hampshire state raptor.
Okay.
Yeah, just a state hawk, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Every state has a state bird. Do you know what New York's is?
New York State bird. I used to know. It's the bluebird, no?
Yeah, it's the bluebird.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the pigeon.
Yeah.
We should probably change that, seriously. Because pigeons are iconic with New York.
Oh, with New York City, maybe.
Home Alone 2 definitely helped that with the pigeon lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what New York State raptor is?
No.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
There's literally only one other state in the union that has
I'm
a...
sure there's not like 50 raptors in the U.S. either.
Maybe. There might be. Who knows? Do you know which state actually has a raptor?
I'm going to say Pennsylvania. No?
Oddly enough, it's Idaho.
Okay.
And I didn't care enough to see which one it was after that, but, we'll go with it. It's Idaho, state raptor. I guess the only state that actually has hawks going around at the same rate New York has pigeons, maybe. Although, odd fact, I remember hearing from a friend that went to Alaska, like, bald eagles are surprisingly common up there. Almost to the point where they are like the pigeons of Alaska.
Yeah,
you could hit a bald eagle and it would be like, all right.
Recently, like, people were kind of, I got word through the internet, so it must be true, that
who would lie on the internet,
since bald
though?
eagles are protected, they've become like somewhat of a pest. That like you can't do anything about them, so they just like are fettered.
That's a good way to say it. I still think we should have gone with Ben Franklin's idea and gone with the turkey.
Yeah, the turkey.
Because now it would be representative of us now.
It's very...
we're basically gluttons, so we love turkey.
It's American.
It's an American bird. Everyone has it. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, so they proposed the bill to the state legislature to... It was basically just something like cutesy. Like, I don't think they were going to do it every year. They were going to be like, okay, well, we don't have a state hawk. How about we just propose one?
Yeah, it's like a very it's like they're not. It's not a very. I don't know. It's not. What would I say? It's not a very daring bill. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's one of those things. Like, at least your state gets a little
asserting
more
very
notoriety.
much. Yeah, it's like
nothing changes.
like-
Nothing changes.
yeah.
I don't even think Idaho capitalizes on the fact oh, we have a state hawk.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in the audience and they actually saw the House of Representatives discuss it, and Representative Warren Groen, who was a Republican from Rochester, said, let's see, what was it? It grasps them with its talons and uses its razor-sharp beak to basically tear it apart limb by limb. And I guess the shame about making this a state bird is it would serve as a much better mascot for Planned Parenthood. In front of fourth graders, dude compared a hawk to Planned Parenthood to fourth grade. And that must have been like an awkward lesson to explain later.
So wait, he was talking about what like the hawk does to a prey to a prey animal as a metaphor for like why. So what did he have against like having that as the state? Like that's what all raptors do.
Yeah, that's what all hawks do. They're all pretty fucking vicious.
Yeah.
Hell, owls are like any state that has the owl. Please let us know what that is. Any state that has the owl must realize that, like, it doesn't digest stuff, it just throws it back up as a pellet. That's pretty gross, and you have that representing your state. Well, the worst part of it was, like, they wouldn't just, like, fucking humor the kids and just be like, hey,
well,
like, we'll make now you know how a bill becomes a law, this is an important lesson for you. Instead, they're like, if we keep bringing more of these bills forward, I really think we shouldn't have it in front of us. We'll be picking a state hot dog next.
I think that's a valid point, I have to say. I mean, I could see, like, I don't see the argument against the state raptor, really, except for that slippery slope kind of argument where now we're going to be picking all these insignificant, like, these are going to clutter our agenda here. Yeah,
but this is, well, it's supposed to, like, get kids interested in, like, how civics work. Mm-hmm. So it's, you need to get, like, a nation of informed voters going on that at least knows how the system works. I guess there was a reason why I had to learn it 3 times in public school because I guess once or twice people would forget about it and then just not care. Now I've learned it 3 times. I know fully well how the system works, and I still think it's like betted against us.
And it's like even though like we say, oh, like these are like the whatever steps, like it's like any business, like until you're like a senator and you see like the devil's in the details, you know, and you see all like the little like, well, this is really how this got voted in because like we added this whatever. You know,
there's no hidden agenda or anything.
Or something.
But let's not kid ourselves here. This is New Hampshire. Right. No one cares about New Hampshire. It's basically known as the state that you have to pass through to get to Maine.
Right.
And 2, don't kid yourself with this whole our time is too valuable to be voting on a state raptor.
I'm sure they do have
because
a lot
we have
of
state songs, we have state flowers, we have state birds. None of those things have changed in recent years, I don't think.
Right.
But even if they did change, it would impact no one's life that much. And why not a state hot dog?
Well,
we already have Chicago dogs. That's basically Illinois.
I think that like if you're gonna teach these kids, you know, how the law works, like you're teaching them how the law works by not passing their bill. Because you don't want them to go forward thinking like,
think you can change
whatever
anything,
I want will happen. Like,
yeah, well,
I guess I don't know. I'm just like being the voice of opposition here.
Well, I get that, and it's like beneficial and stuff. But I think if you wanted to really hammer that point home and be like, well, you can't have just anything go through. Here, how about we show you how a committee works, and we'll try and get something stupid passed through. Like, how about we just blow up this highway? And then you would submit that. And then you would like sit in the committee hearing and be like, who submitted this? 4th graders? Okay, well, this is the filtering process, kids. This is not going through. But like the environmental committee approved it, and they're like, oh, this is a good bill.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change anything, and we don't have a state raptor anyway.
Right. I get like what I would do if teachers in New Hampshire are listening, I would pick as the teacher, I would work with state legislators to find a bill that's already being proposed that's like somewhat appropriate for 4th graders to be involved with, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then divide my class into like people who are for the bill and people who are against it, and have them follow the bill through the legislative process, and you can see like these are the people who are, I don't know, you know what I mean?
No, I do get that. I think that's like something for someone in high school or maybe even
it's
college.
more of an involved
thing. But that is
but
like still an interesting
if it works point. Or if it fails,
you can track through it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I did something like that. I'm subscribed to a subreddit, Watching Congress, and I found myself like incredibly bored.
I can
because it was just like lists and lists of things. I'm like, this is someone's job to look at these things, and I don't care about any of them.
Recently on C-SPAN, there was a caller who called in to weigh in on whatever was happening at 7 a.m. I think on a weekday. This guy called in, and he's just slipped the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap into his answer. And they didn't really catch it for, like, the first, like... So he was like, yeah, so I have some experience with this. I'm from West Philadelphia. I was born and raised there. And, the playground is where I spent most of my days. And he just spoke it. He didn't, like, just start singing the song. But he, like, he made it, like...
he made it sound conversational.
It took some time before they chopped off his call. But...
funny story. Now that you mentioned Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this is daisy chaining this kind of conversation. But I let it be known to my girlfriend that fiance. Those are interchangeable. Anyone that's been listening so far knows that. I let it be known to her that any song fits with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. Try it out. Seriously. Find the tempo of the song, bring the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air up or down to it, and then just overlay it at the right point, and there you have it. There you have it. Yeah. You could look on YouTube and find hundreds of these things.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Really, it is. It'll deepen your appreciation for it. I think I did it with there was a song playing on the radio with it, and I just started singing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song, and she hated me, and I'm like, it works. It works.
It's such a funny song because it's like a song I remember. I lived in Queens, and our school was kindergarten to 6th grade, and every grade was a floor up. So like it was a 6th, if you were in 6th grade, you would be going up 6 flights every morning or whatever. And I remember walking up the stairs like with my class, singing that song to with the people, with the other kids around near me or whatever.
And they started joining in?
And we all knew the words because we all watched this show, and so I've known that song since a long time. So
it's something that's not going to leave.
For almost 20 years. Yeah.
So even though Will Smith's career is, I want to say it's tanking.
Yeah, he really, from that show, man.
He had his prime. He was
the star of some blockbuster movies.
Yeah, and then he did one with his son, and everyone hated it. And then he did Men in Black 3 to be like, hey, remember when I was cool? And that was it was a nostalgia boner for sure, but it wasn't that great. And then he did that one with, What's-Her-Face, where they're thieves or something, and it's this sucks.
Oh, I don't know, I didn't see that. I just remember him doing, he did a lot of movies, though, that were, big, where he was, I Am Legend and, 7 Pounds or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, he did, dramatic ones, and we're like, Will Smith, why don't you just be cool? Do Independence Day! Will Smith, do Independence Day! And we dangled the money in front of him.
Or they give him, horrible lines in those movies. He'll just, sneeze and just be like, excuse me, I'm allergic to bullshit. Just the silliest lines. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're shifting gears here. Should I tie it in? Do you want me to daisy chain it again?
If you would like.
Okay. Men in Black. Will Smith started out as a police officer, and this is a news article about a police officer. There, I fucking did it. I'll get better at segues, whatever. But this is the story of a New York Police Department sergeant who never took a sick day, 42 years,
okay,
and died weeks shy of his retirement. This is that trope that happens in every show that involves cause. He was one day before retirement,
and he gets killed.
And this is the real life equivalent of that.
See, I think part of that trope is that the guy is looking forward to retiring, and I don't think this guy was. I think that.
You're thinking because he never took sick days, he enjoyed his work life more than his personal life.
Or yeah, but maybe his work life really was his personal life. Maybe that was his social. Maybe he without his job.
Maybe he went on the beat.
Alone.
Maybe he went on the beat and he took his paperwork home so that he didn't have to listen to his wife nagging or something.
Well,
I got a lot of work to do, and he's so giddy about it. He's like,
sergeant like that. He's probably
yeah. He's probably got he's probably got his plate full. But it's just such a weird goddamn thing that oh my god, this happened in a show I was watching.
Yeah.
He was an old cop, and everyone was looking forward to him retiring, and then he dies. You want to guess the cause of death?
Heart attack.
Yeah, heart attack.
Yeah, most men die of heart attacks.
I'm gonna go on a tangent about that, but I just want to finish talking about this first. It's regardless on how you feel about police officers, they do have a hard job, and let's be honest, your limp dick could not go 1 year without taking a sick day. You know? You would say, "Oh, I'm fine. It's just a little cough."
I'm like that though. Yeah, I would wait if I was sick, I would take a sick day. But I never am sick, so I never do. I don't know.
I legitimately had a few sick days, but there was... I always remember the ones where it's like, I'm just taking a mental health day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like, email in and just like, I don't know what it was that I had this weekend, but...
Really?
Yeah. But it's like, I know I could get over it. It was probably just like morning sickness where you're like, you need something to eat, like the minute you wake up or something.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go into work like this. I've been working straight. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, see, I'm just different. I think there's like days that I don't feel like I want to, but I just will.
Yeah. I've come close. I've come close sometimes. But it's really one of those things like I'm at the brink of exhaustion, or I don't think the weekend really was long enough. Like, I'm gonna be taking a vacation day later on this month because of the concert that I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is going to get out late, and I would probably be getting home at like midnight, which I don't go to sleep until midnight anyway, but it's one of those things like, I just want to take it easy the next day.
Yeah, if there was some event or something that I was looking forward to, I could see taking time off to do that.
Yeah.
But like I know somebody who he was in his 80s and he literally
Well, when it comes to when you're in your 80s, you could just pick anything to say that the cause of death is.
No, but he was still working, is what I'm saying. And he worked until he died because that was his thing. Like, he was an accountant. He would come in and, like, he needed someone to help him up the stairs. He was slow as shit, and he would just, like, read over papers, but it was his thing, and like he was so outdated and like outmoded. Like,
did he bring like one of those mechanical calculators to work?
No.
Just like it sounds like a typewriter, and then you just kind of like pull the lever. Shing!
But he just wasn't with it with like how technology connect. Like, okay, we had a machine that you can scan checks through, and they would directly deposit into the bank. And like, this machine is kind of old now because now you can actually just take pictures of checks with your phone and have it do that. But this machine was made for it, and
it has a purpose. And you can't deny its purpose.
Like, he was just not with computers really at all.
A lot of people are.
But I mean, he was the type of guy. He was like a Warren Buffett type of guy who's like pretty frugal, but had a lot of money, but just like would never enjoy it. Maybe, I don't know if Warren Buffett enjoys his money or not. I'm sure he does to some extent. But
he's got all the money to enjoy it.
Like, he had he would have like a Mercedes, but he would take like a car service to come to us because he was too old to drive anymore. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool though. That's humanizing.
I guess. I just think
like, still around?
No, he died. That's what I'm saying. He died. Like, he had to be like 86, and he was like still trying to be an accountant and still trying to work. And like, I think sometimes people get into a comfort zone or a pattern and that's all they are.
Oh, so it's like their own rhythm.
Yeah, like it's like a rhythm that they're afraid to leave, maybe, or that if they did leave it, it would be such a change.
Yeah, it would be Kevorkian.
At that age, that it would maybe...
It would probably kill them off earlier.
Yeah, upset them. Yeah. Upset their... yeah.
Yeah. So, going back to the whole heart attack thing.
Yeah.
So, there's this... I'm fully under the impression that billboards and advertisements that are on the train, the Long Island Railroad specifically, like, appeal to the lowest common denominator.
They're pretty bad. I don't like them. Yeah.
They're really bad. I've been seeing the same Broadway shows being advertised the entire time. I see the same dumb dentist ones and medical ones. Snapple for some friggin' reason.
Drake's Cakes.
Drake's Cakes. That's like a big one. The perfect poverty food.
It's very like, be impulsive, eat Drake's Cakes. That's what I'm not lying. Like, that's pretty much what it says. It's like,
like,
give in,
yodels,
like, eat
dig in.
You know you want to eat this.
Eat me
with like a picture of a yodel.
Yeah, but there's this one that usually I see every time I go back home after recording the show, and it's about heart disease, and it literally just says without the flavor text at the bottom, it's not just a man's disease. And initially, I finally did my research on it. Yeah. But initially, it's like, who fucking said it was? We all have hearts. Why the fuck would it be exclusive to one person?
Yeah,
it's retarded to think that.
Well, it's not. It's like women are generally.
But then I found out the reason why that, like, it's been saying that, because apparently all research was like male biased. Like, they basically just researched males with heart disease. But, like, my point still stands. It's now the #1 killer for both men and women. Yeah. So it's like, it's not just a man's disease. Yeah, but it's still, like, the pretty fucking big one.
Yeah.
You can't just co-opt something like that and be like, well, now it's ours. It's both.
Yeah, it's like a serious thing. Because it's tough. It's tough, man. It's because it's not just like you can't really just.
It's like 1 in 3 for everyone now.
It's not like you can take a vitamin and not get heart disease.
Yeah, like, it's a lifestyle thing. Yeah, it's a lifestyle thing.
Like it's a whole thing of choices. So
like, it's not just one thing that sets you off. It's like an entire lifetime of bad habits coming home to roost.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's still like the statistic is now 1 in 3 women, and I'm sure it's like, you know, close to that for men, specifically since it's the #1 killer for both of them. But I don't think either one is eclipsing the other. Maybe it's men more.
I don't know. Yeah.
To say it was a man's disease to begin with was stupid, and I'm gonna call out the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, for doing that. It's pretty dumb of you. It's pretty dumb that we have to have this conversation that it was never just a man's disease. Everyone has a heart, so therefore everyone is a candidate for heart disease.
Right. I mean, well, I'm sure that they're trying to. I'm sure a lot of people think, oh, like, well, a woman wouldn't die of that or something, like
or a woman suffers less.
Like you don't have to worry about breast cancer as a guy or something. Or I don't know.
And then like. But when you do your research with breast cancer, it's like it still happens to guys.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it happens at a lesser rate. Like, I think 1 out of every 7 diagnoses is men, and the other 1 are women, and the other 6 are women. It's like, you can't ignore when that happens to men, though. Right. And they certainly make it sound like that every October. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very.
It's basically turned into Women's Health Month. Yeah.
I don't know. If you're a guy and you have a lump, you'll probably notice it more than if you're a woman.
Well, the weird thing about breast cancer is, and I learned this because my girlfriend, fiance, was doing research about it, or I think it was like for a college course. Like, breast cancer can happen like anywhere on the body. You know what I mean? You could have like a lump on your lower leg, and it's like, oh, that's breast cancer.
But then it's.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, because it's still like a lump that happens, but you would think, oh, it's skin cancer. No, that's the mole. Oh, it's leg cancer. There's no such thing. You're a moron.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it must have to do with the breast tissue though, or something. No.
Yeah.
Or like the glands there, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm sure
but
there are different types.
It's still a lump that happens, so you still have to like check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand if. It's like, well, prostate cancer. It's not just a man's disease. Like, yes, it fucking is.
Yeah. Like, you can't get ovarian cancer.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't get ovarian cancer. I'm glad I'm not going to get cervical cancer. That sounds like it hurts.
Yeah. I saw in the news that that somebody is getting nanobot treatment for cancer, and that they have a leukemia that they would be expected to die, I forget when, like sometime next year. They would ordinarily be given like a life expectancy of X amount of, you know, up until this month next year, some month next year, and now like with this nanobot treatment, they're expected to be maybe completely cured.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Because I know when it comes to cancer, they basically use as the benchmark 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it also depends, like, when during that development did you find out about it, too? Like, you might not know that you have cancer until, like, 3 years into it or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my mom had esophageal cancer.
Right.
She's like she's a goddamn survivor. I love her for it.
Nice.
She certainly hasn't like kept up with the feedings that have happened since that. Like now she has to have like a feeding tube for because she can't get enough of her own nutrients, so she's been like lazy with that. But you know, she's hanging on. It's certainly been a long time since the surgery, and I don't know. It's one of those things that it either like you feel completely the same before it happens, or everything changes afterwards.
Yeah, there's things in life I think that it's just always going to be different after that, but you're still the same person. You
took like a serious tone.
I'm trying to like
you know what I mean?
say what am I trying to say? Like your position in life may forever change, but like, you know, and certain things are never going to be the same, but you're still attacking them or like tackling them from the same perspective. Maybe
it certainly put things into perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think my mother was ever given like a life expectancy sentence. Like, okay, well, you found this. I'm gonna give you 5 years, and she's certainly still healthy. Like they took care of it. I think it was in complete remission. I think she's completely cancer free. But it's a weird thing, cancer. It's uncontrolled growth of cells.
Yeah.
And to say that it's gone and you're completely regulated, like that's something that can happen on a friggin' dime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just happen out of goddamn nowhere. Your body could just decide, I want more of these cells. And you have no idea what happens until you like either you're not swallowing right, or you feel a weird lump, or it's like, I don't feel as great as I used to.
Yeah,
you have brain cancer.
Like,
what?
It's like it's
I actually, personal story here. So I was sick one Labor Day, and I remember specifically it was Labor Day because it happened at school and the nurse's office was closed. And I was like throwing up and diarrheaing all over the place. Specifically one place, the toilet, because I actually had control.
Yeah.
And I was actually taken to the hospital, and while I was just kind of like laying there like, I have nothing in me and I can't take medicine and this is terrible, I can't keep anything down, they put me in a scan, and they told me they ended up seeing like a growth in there. Like, oh, so are you saying I have like colon cancer or something? Flash forward a couple of months, I ended up getting a colonoscopy, and they're like, "There's nothing up there." Like, you've got to be kidding me! The only reason I was like pissed off about it was, but she went on a written report. She didn't actually get any scans. I had to like get the scans later on.
Yeah.
And
it was like a Lego or something.
It's like a Lego, and then you find out, oh, there's supposed to be a motor piece in here somewhere. Why did we go through with the entire thing before checking we need the motor piece? So I was pissed off about that, and here I am. I'm like 20 or 21. I think it was 21 at the time, and I already had a colonoscopy, and I'm like, I feel violated.
Better safe than sorry.
That is shit that happens when you're 50, and here I am, like, knocked out, people looking up my ass. At less than half of that.
Yeah.
I was mad.
Listen, the people have...
If there was something up there, then it would be like, I would treat it with all the attention that it deserves. But since there was nothing, I'm like, someone fucked up here, and it's not me.
Yeah.
Probably should have been like, you're not getting paid for this. I expected a lump in there, and you didn't find one.
I don't know, man. That's I mean, it's good you got it done. I think it's good to be proactive about your health.
After a completely sick event, yes, it's good to be proactive about your health. Because hey, life expectancy. Why not? What is the current life expectancy anyway?
Not sure. I'm gonna say it's still like
mid-80s.
Maybe it's like 85. I don't know. I thought it was like late 70s, but maybe it's climbed.
Yeah. Well, I was considering using this article, and I still am, but after reading it, I found out it was like for a different agenda. And the title of it is Social Security Data Says 6.5 million in the United States reach age 112.
I would believe it.
Really? Because it seems like big news whenever there's someone that's like 116. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what about the people that are like almost that age? And
I feel like it's less.
Oh, I guess there's more.
It's less of like a crazy thing for someone to be 100 now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I remember that was a big thing when I was in grade school, and that was like, oh my god, that was 15 years ago.
It was like happening, but it was like not often. And now
it was page 10 news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long Island's oldest resident, and it's like 103 or something.
Yeah, so now people that were like born in the 20s and
they're still surviving.
And 30s are gonna I think so.
Well, when you think about it, life expectancy data is based around people that are dying now, and those people were born 86 years ago. So when that was happening, like it was the Great Depression. People weren't exactly eating well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the 50s and 60s happened, and people were smoking like chimneys.
Well, I think it's more like, what's the technology like at the age when you really need technology to keep you alive? Like in your 80s, and you're not, like there's so many more, I don't know, like blood thinners and things that can keep you from getting clots and...
Oh yeah, there's a crap ton of
like,
stuff. There's stuff that you didn't even think you needed. You know what I mean? It gets to that point when you're on those medicines. It's like, I didn't even know I needed something for my liver.
Everything has like a side effect too, like...
And you gotta take pills to balance out the side effects.
It's like, now I have to go to the bathroom all the time, but like at least I'm not dead, so at least my heart didn't, get clogged with
a
clump of my own dead blood.
I actually have a working theory. Well, it's not even a working theory. I have to nail down a number, but you know how when it comes to commercials that for prescription medicine that you have to ask your doctor for, there's like a certain amount where everything's happy and you're like, oh, before I took Lunesta, I was like a terrible person. And then it changes to a completely different voiceover talking about all the health risks and when you should and shouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I need to get a stopwatch. Record when it's just the person like advertising it and talking about how happy they are, and then record how long it takes for them to explain the side effects that they can in a commercial.
Yeah.
And see if it's like, if you are explaining the side effects longer than trying to sell me the drug, no one should take it. Make those advertisers work for it.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm probably gonna nail it down, but I'd say like working number right now is like 50%. If you were talking about the side effects for the half of the length of the entire commercial, including ask your doctor, then I don't think you should take it at all. I think like the benefits of being cured and happy with it are certainly outweighed completely by how much you're going to suffer.
There's so many weird things too that they put.
But I think I mentally count every time, and it never reaches 50%. It never reaches half of it. It always seems like 40%. So maybe I got to like tweak it a little bit. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure that the things that they come up with, like there's a whole bunch of them that never make it and don't become commercials, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there are like less successful drug developments.
Oh, there's definitely.
They just aren't marketing. I don't know.
Well, those are the ones that I think are marketed directly to doctors, and they're the ones that tell you about it. Like, oh, I never heard a commercial about that. Yeah, it's because it's an actual drug, and the doctors know about it. That's why I'm prescribing it to you. Take it. But I was reading this article, and it says the 6.5 million in the United States reach age 112.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, this is like a huge jump in life expectancy.
It's predicted that the first person to live to 150 has already been born.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No kidding.
But it's bad. It's like, it sucks when you... So, like, there's this whole, like, idea. Right. This is like just an idea. It's not really super, but based on stuff. But so like biological technology is increasing, computer technology is increasing, with the advent of things like nanobots. Like both technologies may like mesh, and you'll see a situation where people will be kept alive. Like our tools to keep people alive will be much. It'll be like instead of using
precise?
a pair of pliers, yeah, like you'll have like a pair of micro tweezers. You know what I mean? It'll just be like we'll be much less crude and much more
refined.
Yeah, instead of like flooding your system with some kind of drug, like we can like put nano machines in your body that do specifically what we want and don't have like weird side effects, or I don't know, but well,
because I think the issue is like we're banking on our brain and our endocrine system to like, here, we're going to give you more of this hormone so you could flush out this symptom, and then it's like, okay, but while that's happening, you're also going to be dizzy, you're going to throw up, you're going to believe that your family is out to kill you. Like, that's the side effects of that hormone. It's like, well, at least you won't be coughing anymore.
I mean, one crazy. Okay, so like, there's this idea that like, what if your consciousness can be transferred or at least copied? So like, what if we're able to scan your brain or like gather the information of what makes up your brain and recreate it artificially, like not as a physical other brain, but in a computer, like on a hard drive, and then like you can like copy that and paste it and have like multiple consciousnesses of yourself, and maybe you never die. Maybe you're just like, maybe there's a point that we reach as with technology where that generation never dies or something, and it's like a weird abstract thing, but so there's this other idea, like, what if my generation is the last generation of people who die, and like I just didn't make it that far.
It makes like for a very good post-apocalyptic fiction, because I remember seeing a comic. It was probably from Saturday Morning Breakfast cereal, where like, oh, we put our brains into the computer, and then it's like we never died, and it's like someone coming upon that monument that talked about it, and it's like the computers have all been shut off by then, so it's like you're all dead, and you're certainly not existing anymore, even in any electronical sense. But like, it was a touching one. So there's that.
I mean, it would be a total game changer if you would.
Well, if there's anything that Schoolhouse Rock taught me, it's that computers, like, they only do what we tell them to do. So if you downloaded a consciousness into a computer, and like you didn't have the right software, like there's no real software that can upgrade itself. Someone has to be on the programming end of it. Mm-hmm. So, if you had like a very basic program, it's just like, okay, well, I'm your consciousness, and then it was just like, okay, can you do this? I guess.
But it would be.
But if like you ask it questions, it's like you would get the same answer from all of them.
It's like a weird question to say, like, well, what are you? Like, who are? Like, is that you? You know what I mean? Like, it's exactly what you are, just in. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but
because we can like program AIs to either you can have them like answer questions like how Cleverbot is, or you could like say, okay, well, your task is to do this, and you see like the bots in the video games like just doing one goal basically, attack who's ever closest to you usually.
So like, what if you had the chance to transfer your consciousness, your memories, everything, and out of your body, and your body would just decompose and be dead, and you would be like now in a computer?
I think that would be it. I don't know.
I mean, and then so you wouldn't have this like, you wouldn't have to plan for like your health or something. You know what I mean? I'm sure you'd have other things you'd have to worry about. So
basically, the Matrix, but without human glitches and errors.
You would just be a part of you would still be conscious and aware and the mind that you always had, but you would just not be tied to a body necessarily.
I find it very hard to conceptualize that because my body is all that I know.
This is all you've ever known, right? It's so very
body's
weird.
all that I know, and it would be weird.
Like you wouldn't have to buy food or
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, that's like half of it. Well, that's like half of it. Like you wouldn't need to sleep, you wouldn't need to eat, you wouldn't. Yeah. And then it's like, well, do you get to the point where are you able to feel things? Are you able to touch?
Yeah, would you? I don't know.
Because you're already losing two of your senses there. That's almost half.
All that stuff is just sensory input. That event, like at some point, it gets transferred into electrical signals. You could argue that you could simulate it as just as real as it's ever been, or something.
Like I think a closer reality is like we all get our brains implanted into robots. We all become androids in that sense, or just full on robots with just brains powering everything.
It'd be so weird
because if we were computer programs, that would just suck.
Well, it would just be the same.
It'd be like
now.
It'd be like playing those physical chat rooms, those 3D chat rooms all the time. It would be Habbo Hotel 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be Club Penguin 2.0.
Well, you would be like, I think they have what is it? There's like X amount of neuron connections in your brain, and like they have computers that are more than that now. I don't know. Anyway, but it would be weird just to have like to be yourself and to know, to be yourself and then to be able to copy yourself and talk to a second copy of you or a fifth copy.
I get bored of me pretty easily.
It'd be strange. It'd be a strange thing.
But the end of that story that I was going on about, which we finally got to it. It was deceptive in the first place because you thought, oh, it's about life expectancy. But nope, it's about undocumented people or people using fake social security numbers and still collecting benefits.
Definitely.
It's like, oh, hey, you're 112? Really? And you're working in construction? Yeah, all right, okay. And they're like saying they have to spend like billions of dollars to fix these errors. It's like, well, fuck it, they won. They beat the system.
Yeah, there's people.
Social Security is broken anyway.
They're in the what is it? I think in the late '80s there was this a huge. So in the late '80s, I think it was in the late '80s, they made a change to your tax returns, your income tax returns, where you were required to include a Social Security number for any dependent that you listed, and prior to that, you could just list dependents without that. So they make it a joke, in the book I was reading, and it was like suddenly like they start off the whole thing with one night in 1987, like 4.5 million children disappeared from the U.S. And it was really like actually these were all just fake dependents that were being claimed. Once you had to verify with Social Security, like whatever, it was like 12 million children or something vanished. Like,
I expected less of a clickbaity title from ABC News, but what do you expect? They're competing with BuzzFeed. All right. So I think one thing that we wanted to bring back from the first episode, actually, is sort of like a different take on subreddit discovery.
Right.
So if you want a new interest to get into this week, we're going to let you know what that should be. Because you certainly need suggestions with your dull, dull life.
Yeah, it's always, people are always looking to find what other people are doing to waste their time. So
diversify your interests. And like if you've never heard it before, try it out and see if you like it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hand it over to Mike here.
Okay, so this is a subreddit that I think is pretty cool, and I enjoy it. If you enjoy reading, it doesn't have to be reading. This is not a subreddit about books, but if you enjoy reading fantasy novels, sci-fi, if you enjoy sci-fi, fantasy movies, stuff like that, just imagining stuff, it's really cool. It's called Imaginary Monsters. And what it is a subreddit of art that people either make themselves or think is cool and like post. So it's a lot of deviant art stuff, but it's good. It's generally good, really cool looking conceptualized monsters, creatures, living things that don't really exist in the real world. Everything from Cthulhu to some weird glob of thing. It's anything to giants and it's not like all your typical standard, like, this is a gnome, and this is a dwarf, and this is like an elf, you know.
It's a completely made-up monster.
Like, this is a crazy thing. Like, it's a giant in a sense, but it's also like, I've never seen anything like this before. So it's, you know, and it's sometimes they're not the most skillfully done, but a lot of times it's like professional artists, crazy art.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, there was a collection of pictures that an artist did, and then 4chan basically like wrote captions over it, and it was like the most hilarious thing. Like it was like two giant monsters. One of them was two giant monsters at a dock, and then there were like two humans like ready to go out in a boat. It's just like, hey guys, how you doing? Ask him about the boat. Shh, I'm getting to it. I was just like, can we use your boat?
It's yeah. That stuff. It's like you'll see stuff like that. You'll see stuff that's maybe like scary or like you know, ominous, but also like silly. And I like it. And I don't usually go there. I don't go to that subreddit, but I subscribe to it, so it just is like peppered through my feed. These cool things.
Yeah.
Which I like. So I don't know, that's my imaginary monsters. It never really it feels like a good choice to me ever since I subscribed to it.
And you know what? That's all what it's about.
Yeah.
That is all what it's about. Alright, so you know what? I think this is a good point to end on.
Yeah.
I think that's a good closer for the show. Thanks for tuning in to Gentleman Dog Portrait. If you've made it this far, by all means, please share it with your friends.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking this to Blogger, so you can like use your Google Plus account. You can use Facebook, just to comment and let us know what you think. We'll probably update it. We'll probably update the feed a little more often than we do with the Facebook group. So there's that.
Okay.
All right. But until next time, I'm Dean.
I'm Mike.
This has been Gentleman Dog Portrait. We'll see you next time.
Yeah,